Welcome back. This channel exists because of your support. Subscribe, hit like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Now let's get into the story. I never thought these words could dissolve a marriage, but either respect my mom or leave did exactly that. For years with Melissa, we met at a Boston University alumni event and married after 18 months. The wedding should have been my first clue. We'd picked a restored barn in Concord. Her mother Patricia changed it to a Wellesley country club without asking me. Melissa agreed without telling me. I said nothing. Christmas 14 months ago, Patricia criticized my gift as thoughtless. Melissa laughed along. Our second anniversary, Patricia called during dinner at Neptune Oyster. Melissa spent 45 minutes on the phone while our food went cold. I ate alone, paid the bill, said nothing. Each incident felt small by itself. Together, they added up. I was invisible in my own marriage. I'd learned to make myself smaller to make everyone else comfortable. Wednesday before Thanksgiving, Melissa announced we were going to her mother's house. 4th year in a row. My parents lived 45 minutes away in Providence. They'd already bought groceries. I called, apologized, said we'd visit Friday instead. Wednesday evening, Melissa talked to Patricia on speakerphone while we packed. Patricia ran through the menu, seating arrangement. Melissa asked my opinion on nothing. Thursday morning, we drove to Beacon Hill. Please just be agreeable today, Melissa said. When am I not agreeable? She didn't answer. Patricia's townhouse sat on Mount Vernon Street. We arrived at 1:30. Patricia answered with her signature smile that never warmed when aimed at me. Oh, you actually made it on time. That's different. I offered the wine. I brought your favorite Chardonnay. I've switched to Pinot Grigio. Didn't Melissa tell you? She hadn't. Inside, everything looked magazine perfect. Melissa's sister Claire, her husband Greg, their twin 3-year-olds. Patricia's sister Diane and her husband Robert. Melissa's brother Scott, home from college. 10 people total. Patricia seated everyone. Me at the far end, separated from Melissa by 6 others. Melissa sat beside her mother at the head. Dinner started with passing dishes and small talk. Patricia dominated conversation, telling stories. I talked to Robert about his accounting firm until Patricia interrupted. Robert, don't bore Daniel with numbers. Robert went quiet. I noticed the pattern. Patricia silenced people subtly. Everyone let her. Patricia recounted Melissa's recent promotion, got details wrong. Melissa corrected her. Just coordinator, Mom. Not director. Details, details. The point is she's successful. The way she said successful felt pointed. I was halfway through my plate when Patricia set down her fork and wiped her mouth with her napkin. The table conversation dimmed. Everyone recognized the shift. So, Daniel, she said, looking directly at me. Melissa mentioned you're still at the same company. Yes, for years now, I said. Just got promoted to senior analyst, actually. Senior analyst. She took a sip of wine. That sounds very technical. The pause stretched. I could feel everyone watching. When Melissa brought you home, I thought she'd found someone ambitious, Patricia continued. Someone who'd be a real provider. You know, like Claire found in Greg. Greg owned a dental practice. I knew where this was going. Instead, she married someone who stares at computers all day. Patricia's smile had an edge now. Honestly, I thought she'd do better. You're nearly 30, and you're still just this. She gestured vaguely at me. It's disappointing. For all of us. A bit of a failure, really. The table went silent. Claire studied her plate. Greg became very interested in cutting his turkey. Diane shifted in her seat. Scott stopped chewing. Melissa's face flushed red, but she said nothing. My heart pounded, but I kept my expression neutral. I set my fork down carefully, took a breath, and looked Patricia in the eye. I appreciate that you have opinions about my career, Patricia, I said, my voice steady. But I'm good at what I do. I earn a solid living. Melissa and I have a comfortable life. I'm not sure what your definition of failure is, but I don't meet mine. Patricia's eyes widened slightly. She wasn't used to pushback. Melissa's head snapped toward me. I expected surprise, maybe embarrassment at her mother's rudeness. What I saw was anger. Sharp, immediate anger directed at me. Daniel. Her voice cut through the silence like a blade. Warning tone, like speaking to a child who'd misbehaved. I turned to her, waiting for her to tell her mother that was inappropriate. Waiting for her to defend me, her husband, the person she'd promised to stand beside. She didn't. Melissa stood up, her chair scraping against the hardwood floor. You don't get to talk to my mother that way. Not in her house. Not at her table, not ever. I was defending myself, I said quietly. You were being disrespectful. Her voice rose. Either you respect my mother or you leave. The ultimatum hung in the air. Everyone froze. I looked around the table. No one met my eyes. Claire examined her wine glass like it held secrets. Greg focused entirely on the twins. Scott had his phone out, pretending not to listen. Diane's mouth was a tight line. Robert looked distinctly uncomfortable. Patricia sat back in her chair, arms folded, wearing the satisfied expression of someone who'd just won a game. Melissa stood there waiting, expecting me to back down, to apologize, to fall in line like I always did. I stood slowly. No dramatic movements. I just stood. I folded my napkin and placed it beside my plate. Push my chair in properly, the way you're supposed to. All right, I said. Just those 2 words. I walked to the entry hall. Melissa called after me. Where are you going? I grabbed my jacket from the coat rack. My keys from the bowl on the console table. Melissa appeared in the doorway. Daniel, I'm serious. I looked at her. Really looked at her. Waiting for her to take it back. To realize what she'd just said. To choose me, her husband, over her mother's ego. She crossed her arms, set her jaw, eyes hard. Still waiting for me to apologize. I know you are, I said. I opened the door, walked through it, and closed it quietly behind me. No slamming. No scene. Just gone. I sat in my car for 2 minutes, staring at that brick townhouse. Part of me expected Melissa to come out. The door stayed closed. I drove back to our South End apartment. 45 minutes. My phone silent. Each minute confirmed what I knew. She'd chosen her mother over me. I felt strangely calm. Not angry. Just clear. Some threshold had been crossed. At the apartment, I stood in the living room looking at our mixed belongings. This wasn't my home anymore. I'd been living in Melissa's life. When had I stopped existing as a separate person? I pulled out 2 duffel bags and started packing. 3 days of clothes, toiletries, laptop, important documents. Methodical, like packing for a business trip. Because this was business. The business of extracting myself. Phone still silent. 5:47. Nearly 3 hours. Still nothing. At 6 o'clock, I called my college roommate Keith Palmer. He lived in Cambridge, worked at a tech startup, had a spare bedroom. Hey man, random question, I said when he answered. You still have that spare bedroom? Yeah, why? Keith's voice was cautious. Everything okay? Not particularly. Need a place to stay. Maybe a week or 2. I'll pay rent. What happened? I'll explain later. Can I come by tonight? Of course. Doors open whenever. No drama. No interrogation. Just a solution. That's friendship. I finished packing. 2 duffel bags total. I took photos with my phone. Every room, every angle. His stuff, her stuff, shared stuff. Creating a record. Evidence. The living room, bedroom, kitchen, bathroom. I even opened cabinets and photographed the contents. Everything documented. At 7:03, my phone buzzed. A text from Patricia. I hope you've learned something about respect today. My daughter deserves better than your childish behavior. I stared at that message for 10 seconds. Childish behavior. I'd spoken calmly. Left quietly. Done everything right. I deleted the message without responding. Blocked Patricia's number. Loaded my bags into my car. I took one last look around the apartment, then locked the door behind me. I drove to Cambridge. Keith's apartment was in Inman Square, a 2-bedroom on the 3rd floor of a converted triple-decker. He helped me carry the bags upstairs without asking questions. The spare room had a bed, a desk, and a dresser. Simple, clean, functional. Keith ordered food. We ate and watched the Bruins game. He didn't pry, kept the conversation light. After the game, he looked over at me. Whenever you want to talk, I'm here. Appreciated, I said. That was enough. I unpacked in the spare room, hung clothes in the closet, set up my laptop on the desk, plugged my phone into charge. I checked messages. Nothing from Melissa. 11 o'clock now. 8 hours since I'd left Patricia's house. My wife hadn't reached out once. That told me everything. She was waiting for me to break. To apologize, to come crawling back, to admit I was wrong. Let her wait. I set my alarm for 6 in the morning. Tomorrow I'd start building my exit strategy. I woke at 6, slept surprisingly well. Made coffee. Keith had left for work, left a note. Help yourself to anything. I spent the morning researching. Massachusetts divorce law, asset division, tenant rights. Took detailed notes. At 9, I searched for divorce attorneys. Created a spreadsheet, narrowed to 3 firms. Sent professional inquiry emails. By noon, I had 2 consultations scheduled. Margaret Walsh, Monday at 10. Brian Sheffield, Tuesday at 2. At 2, I drove to our apartment while Melissa was at work. Spent 2 hours documenting everything. Extended photography. Pulled the lease, bank statements, utility bills. Created organized digital folders. By 5, everything was documented. Professional. Methodical. Ready. By 5:47, Claire texted. Hey, heard about yesterday. You okay? I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Mom's version is, well, it's a version. I was there. I appreciate that. Melissa's really upset. She didn't think you'd actually go. That's the problem. At 7:15, Scott called. Dude, what the hell? Everyone's freaking out. I was told to leave, so I left. You know how Mom is. You're supposed to just ignore it. I've been ignoring it for 4 years. I'm done. He hung up. 9:30, email from Diane. Daniel, I was at dinner. I saw everything. Patricia was out of line. So was Melissa. You did nothing wrong. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I read it 3 times. First validation from anyone. I replied, thank you. That means more than you know. Saturday morning, I drove to Bank of America in Harvard Square. Opened a new individual account. Transferred exactly $23,500 from our joint account. 50%. Kept the receipt. Screenshot the balances. Not a dollar more or less than my share. I emailed HR. Changed my direct deposit to the new account. Applied for a new credit card. Approved instantly. Removed myself from our joint card. By afternoon, everything was separated. Bank account, check. Direct deposit, check. Credit card, check. All documented with dates, times, confirmation numbers. Phone still silent from Melissa. 48 hours. Not a word. Saturday evening, Keith ordered pizza. Over dinner, I filled him in. He listened without interrupting. For years of this, I kept thinking it would get better. You seem calm. Weirdly calm. I grieve this marriage already, I said. Every time she chose her mother over me, I lost a little more of it. Thursday just made it official. That's sad. It is. But it's also over. We watch college football. Normal. Stable. I realized this was the first relaxing evening in months. I wasn't managing anyone's moods. Not walking on eggshells. Just existing. Sunday morning at 11:23, my phone rang. Melissa. First contact in 72 hours. I stared at the screen, let it ring through to voicemail. It rang again immediately. Again to voicemail. Third call, I answered. Yes? Where are you? Her voice was sharp. Does it matter? You've been gone for 3 days. No word, nothing. I was worried. You told me to leave. I didn't mean forever. We need to talk. About what? About fixing this. About moving past it. There's nothing to fix, I said. You made your choice. I was upset. People say things when they're upset. You gave me an ultimatum in front of your entire family. Either respect your mother or leave. I chose leave. You're being dramatic. I'm being clear. Where are you staying? Keith's place. You ran to Keith? What did you tell him? The truth. Your version of the truth. Her voice had an edge now. The only version there is. Her voice shifted, softer. Please come home. We can work this out. I have a consultation with an attorney tomorrow morning. Silence. Then, attorney? For what? What do you think? You're talking about divorce? Over one fight? Over 4 years of fights I didn't have, I said. Over 4 years of you choosing everyone else over me. Thursday was just the last straw. You can't be serious. I've never been more serious. I'm coming to get you. We're talking about this face to face. No. If you want to talk, we can meet somewhere public. But I'm not coming back to that apartment. It's our home. It was never our home. It was your home. I just paid half the rent. I hung up. My hands shook slightly. First real emotion breaking through. Keith appeared in the doorway. You okay? Getting there. Sunday evening, I opened my laptop. Checked Facebook, which I rarely used. Melissa had posted 2 hours earlier. When you love someone, you forgive them. When you marry someone, you work through problems. Apparently, some people give up at the first sign of difficulty. Grateful for family who actually stick around. 47 likes. 23 comments. Most from her family and friends. Stay strong. You deserve better. His loss. Claire had commented, there's more to this story. Patricia commented, You're better off, sweetheart. You'll find someone who appreciates you. I screenshot everything. Didn't respond. Didn't react. Instead, I deactivated my Facebook account. Not deleted, just deactivated. Removed myself from the narrative entirely. Let them tell whatever story they wanted. I had documentation of the truth. Monday morning, 10 o'clock sharp. I sat in Margaret Walsh's office on Newberry Street. Professional building, 8th floor. The reception area had leather chairs and a glass coffee table. Law degrees lined the walls. Margaret Walsh was early 50s, sharp blazer, direct manner. She gestured to the chair across from her desk. Tell me what brings you here. I walked through the timeline. For years of marriage. Pattern of disrespect. Thanksgiving incident. I showed her my documentation. Photos, financial records, detailed timeline. She took notes, didn't interrupt. You've been thorough, she said when I finished. I work in cybersecurity. Documentation is my job. It's going to make this much cleaner. She explained the Massachusetts divorce process. No-fault divorce required a 6-month separation or proof of irretrievable breakdown. Irretrievable breakdown was faster if both parties agreed. If contested, the process took longer. Asset division worked on equitable distribution. The court considered length of marriage, contribution of each party, economic circumstances. No alimony likely since we were both employed with similar earning capacity and had a short marriage. The apartment lease, Margaret said, checking her notes. Both of you are responsible until May 31st unless one buys out the other. Understood. What's your goal here? Clean break. Fair division. Move forward. No revenge, no punishment. No. Just done. Margaret smiled slightly. That makes you a rarity. Most people want blood. I just want my life back. I can work with that. Let me draft the initial filing. We can serve her by end of week if you're certain. I'm certain. She quoted a $5,000 retainer. I wrote a check from my new account without hesitation. You'll need to formally separate addresses, Margaret said. Are you planning to move out permanently? Already done. I took my essentials. I'll get the rest later. Document everything you take. Photographs, lists, receipts if you have them. Already doing it. She shook my hand. I'll be in touch within 48 hours. Monday afternoon, I went to work for the first time since Wednesday. CyberShield Security had offices in the Seaport District. I worked in an open plan space with a team of 8 analysts. My manager, Kelly Bradford, called me into a conference room mid-afternoon. Everything okay? She asked. You seemed distracted before the holiday. Personal situation. I'm handling it. Does it affect your work? No. If anything, I'll be more focused now. She looked concerned but didn't push. I returned to my desk. At 3, an instant message popped up from my colleague Jordan Hughes. Dude, your wife just called here looking for you. I typed back. What did she say? Asked if you were in the office. I said you were in a meeting. She said it was urgent. Sounded upset. Thanks for the heads up. I blocked Melissa's number on my work phone. Emailed HR. Please note, do not transfer calls from Melissa Foster to my extension. Personal matter. Thank you. HR confirmed receipt within minutes. 4:30, my cell phone buzzed. Text from Melissa. You blocked me at your office? This is insane. We're married. You can't just shut me out. I didn't respond. Second text. Answer me. Third text. I know you can see these. Fourth text. Fine. Be childish. My lawyer will be contacting you. I screenshot all the messages. Sent them to Margaret Walsh. She replied immediately. Expected. Don't engage. Forward everything to me. Tuesday at 2, I met with Brian Sheffield in the financial district. His office overlooked State Street. Different approach than Margaret Walsh. More aggressive. He talked about winning, about fighting for more than half. We can push for 60-40 on assets, he said. She created a hostile environment. Emotional abuse. Those factors in Massachusetts. I don't want to fight, I said. I want fair. Fair is subjective. We could push for more. I took 50%. That's fair. You're leaving money on the table. I'm leaving with my integrity intact. He talked about his successful cases. High-conflict divorces, contentious settlements. His strategy involved dragging out the process, maximizing pressure. I realized this wasn't my approach. Too aggressive. Too combative. I didn't want war. I wanted dissolution. I thanked him for his time. Didn't hire him. When I got back to Keith's apartment, I emailed Margaret Walsh. I'd like to proceed with you representing me. Your approach fits what I need. She responded within an hour. Excellent. I'll have papers ready by Thursday. Wednesday evening at 6:37, Keith's doorbell rang. He answered, then came to my room. Your mother-in-law is here. And some other people. I looked through the peephole. Patricia, Claire, and Scott. I stepped into the hallway, closing Keith's door behind me. Wouldn't let them into his space. Patricia started immediately. This has gone on long enough. What has? I asked. This temper tantrum. You're destroying my daughter over nothing. Your daughter told me to leave. I left. You were disrespectful. I defended myself. There's a difference. Claire interrupted. Can we all just calm down? Scott jumped in. This is stupid. Just come back, apologize, move on. Apologize for what exactly? I asked. For embarrassing Melissa, Patricia said. For walking out on Thanksgiving. For turning her family against each other. I spoke calmly at your table. I left quietly when told to. I haven't contacted anyone. What part of that is embarrassing? You're making Melissa look bad. Melissa made her own choices. Claire tried a softer approach. Look, I get it. Mom was harsh. But marriage is about forgiveness. Where was the forgiveness when your mother called me a failure? I asked. Where was it when Melissa gave me an ultimatum? She was defending Mom. She should have been defending her husband. Patricia stepped closer. You're being selfish, thinking only of yourself. That's interesting coming from you. Her face reddened. Excuse me? You've spent 4 years making sure Melissa put you first, I said. Before me, before our marriage, before everything. And she did. Every single time. So yes, now I'm putting myself first. Because no one else ever did. Scott shook his head. Come on, man. You're family. No, I'm not. I was never family. I was the guy who married into yours. There's a difference. Patricia's voice went cold. If you go through with this divorce, you'll regret it. You'll never find anyone better than Melissa. Maybe, but at least I'll find someone who chooses me. Claire tried one more time. What about counseling? One more try? You can't counsel someone into respecting their spouse, I said. Either they do or they don't. Melissa doesn't. Patricia's face hardened. You're going to regret this. We'll make sure you get nothing. I already have what's mine. I don't want anything from your family. Patricia stormed toward the elevator. Scott followed. Claire lingered for a moment. I'm sorry it came to this, she said quietly. So am I, but not sorry enough to go back. She left. I went back inside. Keith looked up from his laptop. That looked fun. About as expected. Thursday morning, Margaret Walsh emailed. Papers filed with Suffolk County Probate and Family Court this morning. Official filing time 10:47. Process server will deliver to Melissa at her workplace tomorrow between 2 and 4. I read the email 3 times. It was real now. Official. Legal. Public record. No going back. I felt relief, sadness, freedom, all at once. Mostly relief. Margaret's email continued. Expect immediate reaction. She may contact you directly. Don't engage. Forward everything to me. Her attorney will likely reach out within a week to discuss settlement. I responded. Understood. Thank you. I sat at my desk at work, staring at the email confirmation. Exactly 1 week since Thanksgiving. 7 days ago I was married, accommodating, keeping the peace. Now I was filing for divorce, living elsewhere, rebuilding. It felt fast, but it wasn't sudden. This had been building for 4 years. It just took one moment of clarity to see it. Friday afternoon at 2:47, my phone buzzed. Text from Claire. Melissa just got served at work. In front of everyone. She's devastated. How could you do that to her? I didn't respond. 3:15, phone call from Melissa. Block number, went straight to voicemail. Voicemail number 1. You served me at my job? In front of my coworkers? You humiliated me, Daniel. You actually filed for divorce. I didn't think. I can't believe you'd actually do this. 3:20, voicemail number 2. Call me back. We need to talk about this. This is insane. You can't just throw away 4 years over one argument. 3:45, voicemail number 3. She was crying. Please, just talk to me. We can fix this. I'll set boundaries with my mom. I'll do whatever you want. Just stop this. 4:30, text from Scott. Dude, she's a mess. She really didn't think you'd go through with it. Maybe give her another chance? I forwarded everything to Margaret Walsh. She responded immediately. Standard panic response. She thought you backed down. Stay the course. At 7:15 that evening, Keith's doorbell rang. Melissa stood there. First time seeing her since Thanksgiving. She looked exhausted. Red eyes. Still in her work clothes. I opened the door, but didn't invite her in. Stood in the doorway. Can we please talk? She asked. What is there to say? That I'm sorry. That I made a mistake. That I want to fix this. When did you realize it was a mistake? I asked. When I filed papers. Or when I actually left. Both. All of it. I didn't think you'd really leave. That's the problem. You didn't think I'd set boundaries. You didn't think I'd choose myself. You thought I'd just accept it. I love you. You love what I provided. Stability, support, someone who didn't rock the boat. But you never loved me enough to defend me. That's not fair. I was in an impossible position. No, you weren't. Your mother called me a failure. You had a choice. Defend your husband or defend her behavior. You chose her. She's my mother. And I was your husband. Past tense. One mistake doesn't end a marriage. It wasn't one mistake, I said. It was 4 years of mistakes. 4 years of me being the lowest priority. Our wedding, Christmas, our anniversary, every family dinner, every decision. You chose everyone else first. I was trying to keep everyone happy. Everyone except me. She wiped her eyes. I'll change. I'll tell my mother she was wrong. I'll set boundaries. Just withdraw the papers. Why now? Why not on Thanksgiving when I defended myself? Why not Sunday when I called? Why not until you got served? I was processing. You were waiting for me to apologize. To come back on your terms. To accept that this is how things are. So that's it. You won't even try? I tried for 4 years. I tried every time I bit my tongue. Every time I made myself smaller to make your family comfortable. Every time I accepted being disrespected because you asked me to. I'm done trying. Her expression shifted. Tears to anger in seconds. Fine. You want a divorce? You'll get one. But don't expect it to be easy. My mother has lawyers. Good ones. You'll get exactly what the law says you deserve and not a penny more. That's all I'm asking for. You took money from our account. I took half. Exactly my share. It's documented. We'll see what a judge says. I'm happy to let them decide. You're going to regret this. Maybe, but I won't regret staying. She turned and walked to her car. Got in. Drove away. I closed the door. Keith appeared from his bedroom. That sounded rough. It was necessary. You okay? Yeah, I actually am. Saturday morning, I woke to an email from my mother. Melissa's mother called me. Said you abandoned Melissa, took all the money, filed for divorce out of nowhere. I told her that didn't sound like you. What's going on, honey? I called her. Explained the entire situation. She listened without interrupting. Why didn't you tell us this was happening? She asked when I finished. I didn't want to worry you, and I needed to handle it myself. You could have come here for Thanksgiving. I know. I should have. Patricia called you a failure? In front of everyone. And Melissa said nothing? Worse. She took her mother's side. My mother was quiet for a moment. Then you did the right thing. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. I felt unexpected emotion at those words. Thanks, Mom. Do you need anything? Money, a place to stay, anything? I'm okay. Keith's letting me stay with him. I've got it under control. Okay, but if you need us, we're here. After the call, I felt lighter. My family supported me, believed me, didn't need convincing. Sunday, Melissa posted on social media again. Sometimes the person you take a bullet for is the one behind the trigger. Learning to heal from betrayal. Patricia shared it. My poor daughter deserves so much better. So proud of her strength. I didn't look anymore. I deactivated my account. It didn't matter. Let them control the narrative they could see. I had the truth, the documentation, and the law. 3 weeks later, in mid-December, Margaret Walsh emailed. Melissa's attorney reached out. They want to negotiate settlement. Are you open to discussion? I replied, yes. What are they proposing? Meeting scheduled for Thursday at 2. Their office. I'll need you there. Thursday arrived. Law office in the financial district. Melissa's attorney was Richard Brennan, Patricia's brother-in-law. Potential conflict of interest, but allowed if I didn't object. I chose not to object. I wanted this done. Melissa sat across the conference table. Patricia sat beside her, against Richard's visible objection. Richard started. My client is willing to reconcile if Mr. Foster withdraws the petition. Margaret responded before I could. My client declines. Patricia leaned forward. This is ridiculous. For years of marriage over one comment? Margaret's voice was crisp. Mrs. Brennan, you're not a party to this proceeding. If you can't remain silent, you'll need to leave. Richard looked pained. She's here as support. Then she needs to act like support, not counsel. The negotiation began. Assets, $47,000 in savings, already split. Both parties agreed. Apartment lease through May. Both responsible. Melissa wanted me to move out officially, remove my name. I agreed, but only if she paid me out for my half of the security deposit and last month's rent. She agreed. Furniture and belongings. I provided my list. Everything reasonable. Nothing contested. No shared debts beyond the apartment lease. No alimony requested by either party. Settlement reached in 90 minutes. Both parties signed. Court date set for January 15th for final dissolution. About a month away. Everything civil. Professional. Done. Patricia tried to speak as we were leaving. Margaret cut her off. Nothing to discuss, Mrs. Brennan. We walked out. 1 week later, Melissa agreed via our attorneys to give me access to the apartment. Saturday at 10, she'd be elsewhere. I brought Keith in his truck. The apartment felt like a museum. Melissa had already separated everything. My items in labeled boxes. Efficient. Cold. Final. Keith and I loaded everything. My desk and chair. Bookshelf and books. Gaming console. Clothes and personal items. Kitchen items I'd contributed. Framed photos of my family. Everything fit in one truckload. 45 minutes total. I left my key on the kitchen counter. Left an envelope with a check for $2,000, my half of December rent, paid early. Included a note. Key and December rent. Good luck with everything. Daniel. Professional to the end. I drove away from Tremont Street without looking back. Keith asked, "How you feeling?" Free. January 15th arrived. Suffolk County Probate and Family Court. 9:30 hearing. I arrived with Margaret Walsh. Melissa arrived with Richard Brennan. No family members present. The judge reviewed our settlement agreement. Confirmed both parties agreed to terms. Confirmed no reconciliation desired. Asked standard questions. We both answered appropriately. The judge signed the dissolution order. 9:47. 17 minutes total. For years reduced to 17 minutes. Outside the courthouse, Melissa and I had one brief encounter. "I hope you find what you're looking for," she said. "I hope you learn to set boundaries with your mother." Her face hardened. "That's cruel." "It's honest." "Good luck, Melissa." We walked in opposite directions. I never saw her again. February, 2 months after everything changed, I found a one-bedroom apartment in Jamaica Plain. Affordable, clean, mine alone. Keith helped me move in. I furnished it gradually. Second-hand couch, new bed, used desk. Building a space that was entirely mine. Work went well. In March, Kelly offered me a promotion to lead analyst. 15% raise, better projects. I accepted immediately. "You've been different lately," Kelly said. "More focused. Whatever you're doing, keep it up." Just taking care of myself. I started running again. Used to run in college. Started going Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings along Jamaica Pond. Cleared my head. Built a routine. In April, I started seeing a therapist. Worked through 4 years of suppressed feelings. Learned about boundary setting. Understood my pattern of people-pleasing. Made progress. In May, I got an email from Diane. Subject line, update. "Daniel, I wanted you to know that Claire left Greg. He'd been treating her the way Patricia treats everyone. Demanding, controlling, dismissive. Your divorce woke her up to her own situation. She's staying with me while she sorts things out. Sometimes it takes seeing someone else's courage to find your own. Thank you for that example. I hope you're doing well. Diane." I read it twice. Responded, "Thank you for letting me know. I hope Claire finds her path forward. I'm doing well. Best wishes to you both." My choice had ripples. Not just for me. For others trapped in similar dynamics. Late September, 10 months post-Thanksgiving, I met Jennifer Campbell at a running group. Saturday morning run around Jamaica Pond. She was training for the Boston Marathon. I was running for mental health. We started running together. Coffee after runs became routine. She was 27, an elementary school teacher from Worcester. First date was at a small Italian restaurant in the North End. We talked for 3 hours. She asked about my past. I was honest. Recently divorced. Marriage ended because I finally stood up for myself. "Good for you," she said. "Anyone who makes you feel bad for having boundaries isn't worth keeping." I felt something shift. This was different. November arrived. 1 year since everything changed. Jennifer invited me to Thanksgiving at her parents' house in Worcester. I was nervous. First family dinner since Patricia's table. Jennifer's parents' house was warm, loud, chaotic. Her parents, 2 brothers, their families. Her father told a story about my job, got the details slightly wrong. Before I could respond, Jennifer corrected him gently. Dad, he's not in IT support. He's a senior cybersecurity analyst. There's a difference. Proud, supportive, accurate. Later, I took her hand. Thank you for that. For what? For seeing me. For backing me up. That's what partners do, she said. Always. I realized this is what it should have been. This is what respect looks like. This is what choosing your partner means. After dinner, Jennifer and I walked through her parents' neighborhood. She asked if I was okay, knowing this time last year was rough. I'm more than okay, I said. Last year taught me something important. What's that? Sometimes people show you exactly who they are and what you mean to them. The bravest thing you can do is believe them the first time. And then you find people who show you what you actually deserve. She squeezed my hand. We walked back to her parents' house. I felt peace, gratitude, rightness. I'd made the right choice. I believed what Melissa showed me. I walked away. I rebuilt. And I found something real. These words had dissolved my marriage. Either respect my mom or leave. But those same 3 words had also set me free. Dear listeners, that's our ending. If it resonated, subscribe to support the channel. See you next time.